Hello, and welcome to the We Get to Do This podcast. My name is Kailee.
And I'm Jacob.
And we are your co-hosts.
In this show, we're going to dive into all things our lives, from our partnership to romance to entrepreneurship to growing our businesses together, our fitness journeys, and we're going to have a ton of different guests on that relate to what I just said in some way. We're hoping you enjoy the show, and if you do,
please feel free to follow us, leave us a 5-star review on wherever you listen to your podcasts, and enjoy.
And if you don't like the show, tough. Thank you.
Thanks.
50,
so
50, 50, 50. We made it!
50 episodes.
We're halfway done.
Halfway done with a century of pod episodes.
50 weeks in a row. They say if you just stay consistent, eventually you can make money off anything and be successful. We're here to tell you that's not always the case.
But once we get to 100...
100, I think, is the number, though.
Maybe then. But I call that some good dedication. I know we talked about this in the last episode. I forgot to look up the stats of... It's like, I don't know, like 5% of podcasts make it past, like, episode 5. And...
Let's find out. Good old ChatGPT will help us here. Let's just boost our egos.
Yeah.
What percent of podcasts make it past episode... Or make it to episode 50. Make it to episode 50. All of them. No, I'm just kidding.
100%.
Roughly 10% of podcasts make it to episode 50.
It's pretty good.
Had more than 50 episodes.
I mean...
So, and I get it. I get it. I get it. It's like... It would be very demotivating. It is very demotivating sometimes looking at, like, our stats. You know? There's episodes where, like, 5 people listened.
Yeah.
You know? But at the same time, there's episodes, I think our highest is, like, 60-ish, maybe. I want to say 60, somewhere around there. And we have, like, 1,000 plays across all of them. Like, 1,200, I think.
And if you think of those 5 listeners, like... That's still 5 people that took the time to listen to our episode, which is still pretty cool. Like, if we had 5 people in our kitchen right now where we're recording, that'd be pretty sick that they're all listening.
That's for a group class for me. That's a good turnout, you know?
Yeah.
Right? 5 clients in a day for either of us. That's great.
Yeah. And we started this with the intention, or it's kind of turned into the intention that it helps us with public speaking. It helps us with speaking our voices. It helps us with content for patients, for clients. And if it's impacting one person, I think that's worth it.
I do think there's a theme here right now in my life where I have been able to get to the point I am at right now by just kind of fucking doing shit without really any planning. Really, if you think about like everything I would like in the terms of like sit down, what's the overarching like goal of Oak Endurance, the podcast, right? Even like personal training when I started at PRG, like I was very much just like, I want to help people, right? Well, actually, Oak Endurance I have now. Like I worked with a business coach and we sat down and we were like, what's the goal, whatever. But that I'm actually about to go to Colorado so that I can redo this and think about the next level with that too. But my whole point here is that I feel like you and I need to sit down, and this could maybe be a podcast episode, and we need to like think about what is the purpose of this show, really. I think because I'm at a point where for both of us I feel as though, and people have told us that we have a cool message, but I don't even know what that message is. Yeah. Really. So it's like if we sit down, I think, and think about like, okay, what are we trying to do with this podcast? What do we want? Sponsorships? Do we want... What else do you do for podcasts? I don't know. I just don't know. I know like we know nothing about podcasting. We're not like
have more events.
Yeah.
But I think it would be nice to find out like I know we ask for feedback a lot from you as listeners, but like if you could give us some feedback, like what is like when we are told like we like the message that you're putting out, like what do people want? You know, like
Right.
what is it that you all like hearing? I mean, we talked about. I guess I've gotten a lot of feedback about the love episodes, but it's like, do we want like about like how Jacob and I resolve conflict, about
Right.
communication, like, you know,
Right. And I hope that people don't like I hope that people aren't telling us, because I had multiple people be like it's really cool what you're doing, but I hope it's not like oh, it's really cool what you're
pity.
doing, pat on the back, because like I don't have the time for that shit. I just don't. We're both at points right now with like our businesses where things are, like going pretty well, and like I'm very open to like just the blunt feedback. So if you're like your show is not good,
Yeah.
tell us, and then tell us why.
Yeah.
Because
We
we're
actually,
also like, if you think our show's not good and you're listening, why are you listening? But then we'll work on it because
yeah.
I think we both want to be podcasters. I think we're both interested in having that be a part of our career and identities. I just think I think we need to get more serious. And by we, probably mainly me, needs to like get more serious and like sit down with you and have a real conversation about what it is we're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
You know? So, but even, I don't know, I feel like I could do a better job with that with my business too, like I said. But we've done better. I don't know. Maybe we've done better with that actually, because we did do like the New Year's this year, and yeah.
Yeah, well, and I
Backward
think
planning.
there's a certain aspect of like still being open to opportunity. I think there's people that have like a very, very clear vision of where they want to be in 5, 10 years, which is good, but also, I don't know, I think sometimes that you can then be too focused on that and then not see the other opportunities around you and have the ability to pivot. And I feel like both of us are kind of like, we love our businesses and are very passionate about them. But if a really sick opportunity came around,
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be like, no, I'm good. Like
No.
I know exactly what I want. And I think that's what's cool about us too, is like like, I feel like we have kind of feelers out all the time too.
Yeah, and we another reason we've been doing this podcast is because content creation in the modern world, if you're not doing that, I think it's really hard to grow. And most of my content, every like email I sent out for Oak Endurance, the first thing is our latest podcast episode. I don't have to create content for Oak because I have that entire YouTube library that I already did, and then now this, right? So it helps. Or someone asks us a question like, "Why is strength training important?" Give them a 30-second spiel, and then send them this whole pod episode. Like that was another thing that I felt like two birds, one stone, kind of like an archive of things we could have,
Yeah.
in our repertoire.
Well, and even like having our reels and stuff too. I mean, those are getting a lot more views than our episodes,
Yeah.
but
I think
no.
it's doing something.
I mean, I know my sister watches only the reels. And so I think even though we're not getting full listens on our podcast, it's still like even just having our Instagram channel where we post like highlights, that's still visibility and views.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
yeah.
either way, cheers. I'm glad we made it to 50.
Cheers. Thank you all, especially for those of you who've been with us from day one, for listening to us.
Yeah.
And
There are like 20 to 30 very consistent listeners. So thank
Yeah.
you.
thank you very much.
Please
We would
leave
love
us a
to
review.
hear what your favorite episode is. And anytime you can share any of our reels, any of our episodes, like if it's something that resonates with you, or something that you feel like a friend or a family member would want to hear, it could help them. Things like our imposter syndrome pod or
That's a good one. That one got a lot of
injuries.
listens.
Like we have now 50 episodes that you can
Just
choose
wild.
from.
Just wild.
We have a lot of content out there, so anytime you share it helps us a lot. But with that, for today, since this is one of our 10 episodes, and if you've been following us, you know that every 10 episodes we do a 10 things one. So we asked all of you as the listeners, and we put this out on Instagram, out on Strava, asking for questions from our listeners and audience. And because we like to be very real with people, we'd like to share that we got 4
Technically
questions
3. Technically 3. We had to like beg for a 4th one.
from my sister. But
Yeah. But the 4 of you that did ask, thank you.
yeah, we really appreciate it. And like being in this seat just makes me appreciate other entrepreneurs so much more. And we actually were going for a bike ride today, and I was biking along while Jacob was crushing 12 miles. And there's a little lemonade stand set up on the trail. And Jacob was like, we have to stop. And it was just like, no question that we had to go support these entrepreneurs. It was these, were they 6, 7?
Young. I don't know.
Super young, for sure, under 10. $2 for a glass of lemonade. And they took Venmo, which is genius. I wish we had had that when I was a kid, so nobody can use the excuse of not having cash. And it's just stopping and doing things like that and supporting other like local small businesses. And it really means a lot for all of us, because like like I said, with even 5 listeners on an episode, like that's still 5 listeners. That's way better than 0. And so again, like we appreciate you, and just again, like it can be hard sometimes. And, 'cause you see like content creators that are getting hundreds of questions and they show all their DMs that they're getting every day. And it's like, we're definitely not getting that, but we do have people that are engaging and following on, our personal channels, or we get to do this. But this is just a reminder, like if people like put up polls and stuff, like it's to get engagement and to help them as a business. So
Yeah.
I didn't realize that like really until I was like starting this business and like having Instagram. And now it's like, oh, now I understand like how important engagement is. And engagement being like liking people's posts, sending a comment, sending a DM, like sharing a post with somebody. That all of those are free things that are invaluable to us and other small businesses.
Leaving a review.
Leaving a
And
review.
If you want to know, I think I said this before, but if you want to really have an ego and make yourself feel extremely insecure, go ask people for Google reviews, because you will be shocked at the amount of people that do not give them to you. The amount of friends that don't give them to you, mind you. Anyways, I digress. But that's still something that should be the answer to that one question about that we're going to get to is that shocked me. Anyways, I was going to say, I feel as though everything that I've done so far in building the business has, and this has been very hard. Again, like the Google reviews are a great example. But, we wanted 10 questions. We got 4. And, at first you're like, wow, I shouldn't even do this. Like, what's the point?
Like, does anybody care?
Does anyone care? Right?
Are we already sharing all of this and they just don't need to know anymore? Like, what? Why?
Right. But it's like, why are the 4?
Yeah.
Like for group classes. When the first time I ever started a group run with Aaron Boyke at Performance Running Gym, it was his and he had me lead it, right? The very first one we ever did, it was Aaron and I that showed up. The 2 people that were leading it, right? I think I hit like 35 people at one point, which for a group run is pretty good. I mean, it's no Mill City, but like for, right, that we had cultivated and stuff, I got up to 35, but that took like a year, right? It was like week 1 was Aaron, then it was just me, and then just me, and then at one point I like convinced Caleb to come run with me. Then it was just Caleb and I, and we started running together for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden now there's a 3rd person, 4th, 5. Like it grows, but it takes time, and you have to be okay with that, and you have to also put effort into, which I will say I am not putting as much effort as I need to into this in general too, right? But classes, right? When we started the Oak Endurance classes, Anna was the only person that was coming. Mm-hmm. It was
Anna and I working out every morning.
Yeah.
Once a week.
And that was very hard for me. It was very hard for me at first. Like I was like, it was just very, not encouraging. But, one, you get used to people saying no. or like I can't come or whatever, and you understand it's not personal. Two, they grow. Like those group classes now are getting like 10 people, right? So it's like, yeah, it's just like stay consistent, and maybe by 100 we'll get 10 questions. We won't have to work that hard for it, right?
Well, and we have the whole episode of like how to not give up before things get good. And I think in my mind, back to like content creators or thinking of, we went to one of the Rocksteady running endless summer runs on Wednesday. They had over 300 people show up for a run at 6 p.m. on a Wednesday. But then when John was talking at the beginning, like he's been doing these runs since 2003 when he took over. I mean, that's 22 years of building this up. And I think the hard part is so many people, as we talked about in this episode before, they give up before it gets good. And, you could have easily canceled those classes. And we did talk about it back then, too.
Yeah, and then would never have gotten anywhere.
Yeah.
And now they're like, that's like one of my biggest income sources.
I think it's hard because you see people who are already there and you just want to be there. And you're like, how am I ever going to get to that point? Where you see other podcasts, Joe Rogan, millions of listeners, Jenna Kutcher, millions of listeners. And it's just like, you aspire to that, but it's like there's very few people that get to that. And so again, I think it's cool that we've even made it to 50 episodes right now, because I think that's rare. And I think listening to entrepreneur stories too is just so cool because, Nick Bare has an amazing story. Mel Robbins, like they didn't just like start out being Nick Bare or Mel Robbins. Like they had to work to get where they are today. And someday we'll probably be listening, hopefully, listening back to, episode 1 or our first 20 episodes and being like, wow, we were working really hard for 5 listeners, but appreciating where we've come from and appreciating those 5 people. I think it's about staying humble too and just continuing to keep grinding and keep going.
Yeah. And Nick's book I'm reading, he talks about how I think it took him 3 times. Like he started the YouTube channel and got a bunch of negative feedback. And then he started it again, and one of the first 2 times he started it, someone commented and was like, "You're a loser. Stop with the camera." Something extremely like mean like that, and he put it down again. And then like the 3rd time, he finally was like, "All right, I'm gonna keep doing this, and I'm gonna ignore everyone." Look at him now, And I think one of my favorite quotes, I don't know who said it, but it takes 10 years to become an overnight success, and I just really think that's true. And I think God, I don't know, the force, whatever my like spiritual being is, for not giving up on Oak early on, because there were days where it was so hard. But now I'm like, wow, thank God I stuck the course, And I really think, like with this podcast, I'm like, I don't see how we can't get this to something that could be like an income stream for us. I really don't. We just got to. I don't even know how you make money off podcasts, really. So like, we just got to figure even that.
We're still learning. We've already learned so much in the last 50 episodes. I mean, we switched podcast hosts and we switched around a lot of things, but yeah.
Anyways,
that was a nice
50.
18-minute intro. We do have 4 questions, so I guess we can
people need it.
Get to our questions. Okay, I'd like to...
Wait, can I say one other thing?
Yeah.
I do think that this podcast was able to hit 50, actually, though, because of you. So thank you. Because I would have for sure given up on this a long time ago. So thank you for keeping us afloat. It's hard. It's hard. The hard parts of this are really hard. And there have been many weeks. You're the one that's like really good about getting us like to schedule this pod. There have been so many weeks where if it was just me, I struggle just sending an email out every week, So thank you, babe.
Yeah. Well, if you know me at all, you know I hate giving up on things. And if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And we said we were going to hit at least 100 episodes. And damn it, we're going to hit 100 episodes.
One more year. All right. Anyways.
But I appreciate having you because it's definitely much easier being able to do this with two of us than just one. So, anyways, first question. How do you get back on the wagon if you fall off?
We should say first names of who they're from, because like Sally and Eddie, and I think other podcasters usually do that. They'll be like, from this person. Thanks.
We
Blank.
have Jess from St. Louis Park, Minnesota.
Wow.
Jess said, how do you get back on the wagon if you fall off? And I'm assuming Jess means about exercise, running.
Yeah, I mean,
probably running.
Nutrition, sleep,
Nutrition.
anything. Right?
Yeah. How do you get back on the wagon if you fall off? It's tough.
Yeah, I think first of all, decide why is it that you fell off, right? In my mind, I think of, okay, we've got two options for why you fell out. Number one, you're burnt out. Or number two, whatever you're doing is hard and your why maybe isn't powerful enough, / you need to figure out why you're doing it. If it's the burnout realm, I think of, usually in that sense, it's like you're not having fun, right? For whatever you're doing. So I think it comes down to audibling or figuring out how you can make X fun again. I think that one's kind of the easy one, right? If you're not having fun with running, don't run. I've had people ask me so many times, like, how do you like become a runner? And truthfully, and I am a run coach and trainer. If you don't like running, don't run. Find something else you like. There are tons of ways to move your body. Like, I'm not here to convince people to run. I'm here to help people that already are running, right? But if you are in the situation where you're like burnt out on running, you need to do something else for sure. Like, life's too short. Unless you're a pro athlete, I guess, that's making money off it. Maybe that's a different conversation. But, right? If it comes down to, say you signed up for a specific type of run or something, right? And you fell off training for a marathon or ultra or trying to do a 5K for the first time, right? And you like, again, this is throw out like the fun part of it, right? And you know, now we've entered the conversation of like, it's not always going to be fun, right? But generally when things get hard, it gets hard and people fall off the wagon, right? And I've had that happen. I'm sure you've had that happen. Nutrition is a good place where it happens for me a lot, right? And honestly, I think that comes down to your why. I really do think it comes down to your why. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you have to want it. But I do think that you need to understand why you want it. And I don't think like grit can just get you through things if you don't actually want whatever it is that you're on the wagon for.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I would say this can kind of go for running, for nutrition, sleep, anything, but start small. Do not start where you were before you fell off said bandwagon. Start back at square one almost. And, you know, because even if it's like nutrition or something, like, I don't want to say just, you know, recognize the benefit of it, because we all know that sleeping 8 hours a night is good. We all know like the good foods to eat. A lot of times that's not good enough. We know to move our body, but like that it's good to move our body, but it can be very intimidating and scary. And, you know, like I said, like if you were, you know, in marathon shape, say, or 5K shape, and now you haven't run in months, don't like treat yourself like a new runner again. Or if you are all of a sudden going to bed at 1 a.m. every night and you want to be a 10 p.m. person, you're probably not going to be able to just start at going to bed at 10 p.m. just right off the bat. Can you go to bed at 12:30 one night? Then the next night, can you go to bed at 12:15 or 12? And how can you start just like moving that up? If you want to get back into running, okay, can I run around the block? Can I run to my mailbox? Can I run 1 mile? and just like slowly build up those stepping stones. And because you weren't just a marathoner overnight, most likely, or you didn't just start exercising every day. Like you had to start somewhere. And think about back to that and how did you, start building those blocks, potentially years ago. And don't just expect yourself to just immediately get back to where you were, and it's okay, but like baby steps. If you're trying to work on like getting back to nutrition, it's summer. So I think a lot of people have fallen off the wagon with, their eating habits maybe and like cooking at home. Okay, well, if I'm eating out 4 nights a week, how about we switch to 3 nights a week this week, 2 nights a week the next week? And I think it's just about the small steps and then giving yourself grace and not putting yourself down if you don't immediately get to where you want to be in a couple days. These things take time, and it's just about being consistent and continuing to show up day after day, and small changes that will add up. But you just have to be consistent. Thanks for that question, Jess.
Great question.
Then on the other side of that, we have Janae from Minneapolis, Minnesota. How do we get on the wagon in the first place if we're starting from zero? So this is, everyone we're on, and, maybe you want to be a runner, or maybe you want to be a 6 a.m. waker upper, for example. How do you do that?
I think about starting small now for that answer. Like literally what you just said is how I would answer that question.
Yeah.
Um, can we rewind it 5 minutes and have you like really? I mean, I really think it comes down to starting small. If you want to get up at 6 and you're going to bed at midnight, do not try to start going to bed at 9. It's just not going to work. Right? Everyone I've worked with in that sense, it's like, okay, well, 11:30. Right? But okay, hold on. Two things to consider. Now, again, I'm big on these two things. Now I'm thinking about this. I had a mentor once tell me that people are either, I think it was salamander and rabbits. Salamander and rabbits, I think. Because there are two types of people in the world. So figure this out. I am very much the rabbit, where I feel as though you're a little bit more of the salamander. And what I mean by that is I am the type of person who, if, say, I'm going to bed at midnight every night, it's almost easier for me to just be like 9.
You're a go all in.
Like, go
person.
all in. So actually, I take back what I originally said. Because I'm not really like,
If you have a goal, you just do it.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be off one day on Wednesdays, you just do it immediately.
yeah. And like rest days, I'm very much like on the couch doing nothing. Like, I'm very much like,
Extremes.
yeah. So I do think that's something to know. Because I don't know. I used to think you should train that out of people, but I don't think you should. I think you should use what you are to your benefit. So I think you need to figure that out, actually. But yeah, but then, yeah, I think it comes down to that now that I'm thinking about it. And then you can start small if you're on the other side. And yeah.
But yeah, I think it does depend on who you are, but depending on the goal or what kind of wagon you're trying to get on, I also come to within healthy reason, but like I'm always thinking of like making that your personality. And
It's a good one. Yeah.
think of okay, so X person is doing what I want to be doing right now. They're waking up at 6 a.m., they're running 5 miles a day, whatever it is. Like looking at that, or looking at the group of people collectively who do that. So like for me, for instance, like if I'm looking at Mill City running people, like I'm going to surround myself with those people because it's so much easier. And this goes back to like eating habits too. If you're hanging out with people who are going out to eat every single day and your goal is to eat out once a week, it's going to be pretty hard to ever get to your once a week goal. Maybe you can do it. I mean, not saying you can't, but it's going to be that much easier if you're surrounding yourself with other people. And even if you're not there right now, like if you want to do it with your partner, like talk to your partner about doing it with you. Like if it's about cooking at home, eating habits, going to bed at a certain time, going for runs, like seeing how you can get other people around you to be on the wagon with you. Because it's so much easier to do it if you're with other people than if you're by yourself. And then also the small, consistent habits, like I was talking about for the last one, if you're off the wagon.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Now I'm thinking about tons of people I know that, or people I've known in the past, and clients and whatnot when I've started with them, when they're going from more getting onto the wagon situation. And one of the bigger conversations we have usually earlier on is who you're surrounding yourself with and finding community. Um, because if you want to be a runner, it's very hard to become a runner if you hang out with people that don't run. If you want to stop drinking and you hang out, all of your circle is drinking every night, it's pretty hard to stop that. So,
Yeah, and it's not to say you can't, but just think about it. Like, yeah, if all of your friend group are drinkers and you don't want to drink, like, you're gonna have that many more obstacles to overcome if you continue to hang out with those people.
yeah. And from like a run perspective and an exercise perspective, most of the time, like when people first hire me and I help them with this type of thing, they're usually people that have, like, I would say 99% of the people. Like, it's very rare for someone to start with me that has done absolutely no running or no exercising. It's usually people that have like done a big run and then they fall off, right? Or a big workout and they fall off, and then there are people that are like struggling with like staying consistent with it. So in that situation, kind of going back to the being like starting small, I'm usually very big on, I ask these people like, what is it that you think you are capable of doing from a week to week basis? Like, what do you think you can consistently do for the next 4 months? And then wherever they tell me, so whatever it is you're thinking in your head, half that, 50% that, and go get the wins. Like, it's very important to get wins, as opposed to if you're like, I'm going to start out running 10 miles a week and I'm going to do 10 miles every single week, and then you get like 5, you're going to feel pretty bad about yourself. Whereas if you are like, I'm going to start at 10, and you actually go, no, I'm going to start at 5 and get those wins, that's usually the route I would go.
Yeah,
So
not the
start.
extremes.
That's the start small again. Yeah. So I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
I have one more thing.
Maybe anti-extremes after all. Now we're talking through this one.
I think it's relative and it depends.
Yeah, it just depends on who you are a lot, I think.
But also with the community aspect, like having an accountability person. So also like having a coach. If you're looking into running, like hire a coach. Have somebody like actually be checking in with you and making you a plan, so that it's not even a question of how much should I run today? What should my workout be? How fast should I be going? How long? Like, if it's a business thing, like hire somebody to help with that, or have an accountability partner. My friend Jess and I do gratitude every single day, and because our goal is to do, like, write out our what we're thankful for or what we're grateful for every single day. And one of us will always text first, and then we don't even have to think about it because we're holding each other accountable. So even if that other friend isn't, we're going back to the running thing, but even if they're not a runner, like, if you can have them, I don't know, like check in, like, hey, how's it going for training for your 5K or something? Like, if you think that that's somebody that will help hold you accountable and be checking in on you, I think that's valuable too. Next question. Where did we get to do this come from? This question's also from Montana in Hopkins, Minnesota. Thank you, Montana.
We're branching out.
Yeah.
Someday, you will not be able to move your body. You will not be able to chase whatever goal it is you're chasing. You will not be able to wake up at the time you want to wake up. There are people in this world that can't do any of those things right now. Everything that we do Everything I do, everything I do every single day is extremely privileged. Everything I do, from the moment I wake up. And it could get taken away at any point. I try very, very hard to not ever say, I have to do this. Because I don't. I don't. I don't have to do any of this. I don't have to run. I don't have to do this podcast. I don't have to go to the farmer's market with Kaylee. I don't have to get up at 5 and train people that are paying me money to help them with their fitness goals. I very much get to do all of those things. And I'm going to enjoy every second of it because someday you won't.
And if you want more elaboration on that, you can listen to episode 15, where we talked about the backstory of We Get to Do This. It's also Jacob's tattoo, so it means a lot to us because we get to do this.
Damn.
Oops, wrong.
Great question, though.
Yeah. Thank you for
And that answer has been asked that a lot of times. That was probably the best answer I've given.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'm touched.
That started out with I had a client that did a plank once and said we get to do this. That was the first answer. Original answer. It's morphed a lot.
And now we yell it at during every class, every run, like we get to do this. And it's spreading.
Yeah.
It became our kind of tagline because it's something that we hold on to for runs and just every day. Our last listener question. What was your favorite or one of your favorite running moments ever? And this question is from Rachel of Eden Prairie. So thank you, Rachel, for asking this. Again, what was your favorite or one of your favorite running moments ever? I have so many. I have 2 top ones, though. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to go quick with my top 2. But the first one that I immediately thought of was my first 100-miler, which was my only 100-miler, I guess, I've ever done, on Orcas Island in Washington. And my mom was there, my friend Al was there, and it was so hard to get to the finish. And I was the DFL, as in dead fucking last, in the race. There were 4 of us that finished this 100-miler, and everyone was out. I was the last one by like a while that was still on the course, and I got to the finish. And for the Yeti races, they make like a human tunnel thing. So like everyone that had already finished the race was making this human tunnel for me. So there were like 20 people there, and I got to run through this, and it was just like one of those top of the world moments, like having everyone there and just like knowing like the work and the grit that went into that race, and to be able to cross the finish line, and then having like 2 of my best friends that were there. And I like during this race, I'd had like a bunch of other friends like coming out because it was in Washington, and since I had lived there for a couple of years, I had some friends, and people like at the race were making comments like, who we were gonna have on with you on the next lap. And it was just cool because like every lap I was having new people. And yeah, that was a pretty special moment. It was my mom's first 100K that she finished too. And then Al got 50 miles. So it was 3 huge milestones for the 3 of us. And then also really quickly, at the end of my 200 in the last 5 miles, and I got back at mile 195 to the little lodge and picked up Jacob, and we just started like basically like what felt like sprinting at the time out of the lodge for this last 5-mile lap, and we were blasting Jonas Brothers Year 3000. And we're drinking margarita and like literally like drinking it on the trail. and singing, and we had a thing for that race about got that dog in you, so we were like yelling that, and then like my dad showed up like halfway through that like loop at like 2.5, and Al did, and everyone was like, you three were like literally barking behind me, and you kept like yelling to everybody on the trail like she just ran 200 miles, and like every, cause it was at a state park, and like everyone was like so happy and like applauding and also being like, what the heck is going on, giving us a lot of looks. And then like your family was waiting at the end. Like it was so cool. And something I definitely will never forget. It was like very, very much of an out of body experience, and just having like all of my favorite people there, like supporting. And another one that just took like the journey to get there, and then the race itself was just very, very hard. And I was just like very proud of myself. And yeah, definitely one of my top running moments that I will never forget. And I think the first ones are cool, like first 100, first 200, first 50 mile. Like those moments are all just really cool because it's like you don't know if you can achieve them until you do it your first time. So as much as I'm looking forward to Javelina 100 in October, like I know I can get to 100 miles. So yes, it will be incredible still, but it's just like those first moments that just they kind of unlock something, unlock a new level in you that you didn't or weren't sure if you were capable of. And it just really opened my eyes and world after those moments to a lot of things. What are yours? Or what's yours?
So it's what's your number one?
What was your favorite or one of your favorite running moments ever?
This reminds me, I was on a trail once with a friend, Scott, and he asked if you could relive any run you've ever had, what would it be? And it's a very good question. And I do think that it's so hard because I think some of our like favorite runs are the ones that were hardest in the moment, and I wouldn't actually want to relive them. You know what I mean? I
Yeah, I don't want to do my 200 ever again,
But I think
but
it's
it
a
was a
good. I think
highlight.
it's a good question. Like, what's your favorite run of all like that you've ever done? And I think for kind of like you were saying, a lot of it comes down to the firsts. The one that for me comes to mind is Twin Cities in 2017, my first marathon. I to this day, I don't think there's been anything quite like that experience because like we know my background with running. We've talked about that. But like when you're told you're not something for so long, you just start to believe people. And I feel like that marathon was when I finished it, like one of the first times I truly believed in myself and like accepted myself. And I'm still working on that for sure. I think that's an ongoing thing always. But like that to this day was probably one of the like that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. Like just finishing that. Um, and I'm a very big words of affirmation person, but some of the things I heard afterwards also like were so special and meaningful. Like I remember my dad called me and said that was one of the most proudest moments that he's ever had of me. And how he was like talking to his coworkers about me and like bragging about me. I remember like my younger brother Nick was a pretty big runner at this point already, but you know him saying stuff to me and like I looked up to him and his running. Like it was one of those things where like again you get told that you're not a runner for so long, and now you have these people that are like Jacob is a runner. He like I don't know that changed the trajectory of like a lot for me that first marathon. I don't think had I not finished that, I don't know where I'd be right now, you know? So that's what I would say. But other than that, a lot of like I think about like my first time breaking 70 in the 10 mile, TC 10 mile in 2022, I think that was. I think that was another very like that for me was the I can be fast. Like I can run faster than I thought. Like the marathon was like you belong kind of, and I mean it was right, but it was very much I had always been this. I'm just gonna finish races, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But for me, the reason I thought that was because, again, I was told I wasn't fast, right? So, in the TC 10 mile, like, for me at the time, that was an unbelievable feat, just going sub 70, because like, breaking 7 minutes in 1 mile, like, in high school wasn't a thing for me. So, um, and I'm going to say three because I decided I'm going to say three.
It's our podcast. We make the rules.
But anytime I'm running with community, that matters a lot. I have a few runs that, like, one that sticks out a lot was like my birthday when I turned 24, and I went up to the Spirit Hiking Trail and ran with some people, and I was like, wow, people actually like to do this stuff, right? I'm not a loner that wants to run 24 miles randomly a day. Or when I was with Jake and Aaron, we went to the Porcupine Mountains and we just ran all day and did like 33 miles. Or when my older brother and younger brother were into running, and I really hope someday, Josh still kind of is, but I really, really hope they both get into it as I am again someday, because those are the types of things you talk about. We get to do this, that you don't realize how special they are until they're gone, because neither of them, my younger brother especially, like, just doesn't run at all, right? And so, like, enjoy those types of things, right? And I wish I would have enjoyed like that more, because those, I have runs where all three of us are running together, and I was like, I can't wait till this is done, so, and I regret that. So I'm hoping that someday that'll come back. But those types of things. And like the first time I held sub 8 in an 8 mile run. Nick was coaching me at the time, and he ran the whole thing with me, paced the whole thing with me. And I'm like, God, this is awful. I want to be done so bad. And I'm thinking, Nick's never going to not be a runner, not, he is a runner, but like not stop running. Right. So, yeah, I think that's a long-winded answer, but that's me. So tough.
And I think this is a good question for when you are struggling to get through the race or get through another training run, or it's hard to get out the door if you've fallen off the wagon. Like, think about your favorite, like, I encourage you guys to think about your favorite moments too. And, I think about like my 100 or running in the mountains or running in community or the things you've been saying, like, just those moments like inspire me to go back out again and to keep doing what we do and keep like showing how incredible running is.
Yeah, and I said it at the beginning of the podcast, but I'm very grateful for you for all you've done for this show. But I mean, even we talk about, we get to, like, I just said, my brothers, right? Like, how lucky am I that we get to do all of this together, And I don't think that I appreciate that enough when I'm doing it with you. Running, biking, grilling, traveling, like, that our core values align so much. Doing a podcast, like, that's very much I get to be doing all of this with you. So I love you.
I love you. That was gonna be my we get to do this moment for the week.
That was my we get to do this moment for the week. Dibs.
I can do it too, because we're sappy and because we love. But I mean, just this morning, like, I remember coming out of the bedroom, and maybe it was this afternoon, and I was just like, it's so cool that we just get to like live together, the two of us, and get along so well, and be buying groceries together. We get to cook together. We get to like just share the same space together and share the same like stories and families. And I truly never thought that I would find like another human in my life that would kind of be like the perfect fit to my life. Like, we're very different, but I feel like we really complete each other, and it's so cool. Like, I truly like just like love doing life with you. And most days I actually do think about this, and just like I do not take you for granted at all, and just like our
Really?
whole situation. And every day I'm like, wow, it's so cool that we get to do this. And I'm just, especially when I see, some other people or relationships, I'm just like, we're very lucky. And I think we let each other know that all the time too. And I just look at you a lot. I'm like, wow, like, we have a really, really good life together, and I really like what we're building.
I love you.
I love you.
We get to do this.
Episode 50. Thank you again for listening, and cheers to another 50.
Oh wait, we should. Our podcast is at 49:05. We should try to get it exactly to 50 minutes. What else can we talk about for 50 seconds?
What's been your? I was gonna ask you this. What's been your favorite pod episode out of our 50?
43, 42, 41.
Come on.
40, 20, 40. This one. This one's my favorite episode out of the 50.
Really? Because I told you how much I love you.
Yeah.
Big words of affirmation, guy.
Yeah. What's yours?
I really liked the one with Todd, and I've liked all of our loved ones, our love story. And our
Todd did
proposal.
come to mind actually too.
Yeah.
I really liked that one.
Yeah, I think both of those were good. Anytime we can kind of like speak from the heart and just kind of go off, I really like those
Like this one.
episodes. And like this one.
4,
Thank you.
3, 2, 1. Wow, Kaylee, we made it through another episode. What do you think?
We would love if you would go give us a follow, a 5-star review, and comment on the episode and what you liked and what you'd like to see more of.
See you next time.
We get to do this.